When looking for bad movies, video game films are a landfill of cinematic trash. And to find the worst of the worst, you have to look beyond films which are simply boring like Doom or unfaithful like Tekken.
Delightfully devilish, Seymour.
Yes, everybody, welcome back to Delightfully Devilish, the show where we discuss films that all at once meet the criteria of being the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm your host, Jukebox Harry, and today we are looking at a film which went above and beyond the standards of simple mediocrity and earned the title of the worst film of the 1990s, according to WatchMojo.com.
Number 1. Mortal Kombat. Annihilation.
For about 25 years, Mortal Kombat has held the status of being arguably the best video game film adaptation. The actors resemble the characters they're playing just enough, the fight scenes are decently choreographed, and the otherworldly atmosphere of the film is very convincing thanks to some really nice set pieces and locations. But as I got older, each time I watched this film, it was slightly lower in quality to the point that now it just barely passes as a guilty pleasure for me. Yet its sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, is a film I never remember liking that I've now come to appreciate just because of its phenomenal badness. Mortal Kombat Annihilation opens revealing many of the same cheesy visual effects we saw in the first film, and the story picks up immediately where the last film left off. Although the viewers have to pretend that they didn't just switch every single actor not playing Liu Kang and Katara for someone else. Sonya Blade is now played by the woman from the end of Pauly Shore's Encino Man.
Oh, yeah, buddy, she is so crazy.
And Johnny Cage, played by the romantic interest from the next Karate Kid.
I'll call Domino's Pizzas.
Yeah?
And have them deliver 48 pizzas in the middle of the night.
That's great. I love pizza. No anchovies, okay?
But worst of all is Raiden, who has been played by Dexter Morgan's father.
I never thought this day would come.
The character of Raiden is one of the few things I objectively enjoyed about the first Mortal Kombat film, because Christopher Lambert was perfect for the role.
I know. But there's no one else.
He had such a sense of mysticism to him, which was really bolstered by the fact that he played the immortal warrior Connor McLeod in the film Highlander. And I am a die-hard Highlander fan, so yes, I'm being very biased right now when I say that. But Raiden is also my favourite character in the Mortal Kombat games, because he's really badass. But anyone who has seen both films definitely has to agree that Christopher Lambert is a way better casting decision than James Remar. But we'll see more and more of that later as the film goes on, so we'll get back to it then. A portal opens up and a bunch of awkward-looking villains are seen standing against an obvious green screen backdrop.
I thought our victory in Mortal Kombat closed those portals.
What closes can also open again.
What is that supposed to mean?
Huh. So everything that's done can be undone, so nothing that anyone does in the universe of Mortal Kombat actually matters or has any impact. Right, so these characters should have pretty much no motivation then, because nothing matters. Huh. Great writing.
Mother, you're alive.
Too bad you will die.
So this is how Mortal Kombat Annihilation treats the reunion of a warrior and her long-deceased mother. What should be a very emotional point is reduced to this line.
Too bad you will die.
Now in the game, this character, Sindel, is supposed to be a reluctant servant to the villain Shao Kahn, brainwashed after being brought back from the dead. But the film never does anything with this plot point, it just treats her like another generic throwaway villain, nor does it actually delve into the theme of Kitana being reunited with her long-deceased mother, which should be a plot point with some emotional impact. Also, Kitana's mother is played by an actress that's only 4 years older than her, and I know Kitana's meant to be like over 10,000 years old, but like, can we have something that more clearly signifies an age gap between them? Something more than just 4 fucking years? Then we get the film's first fight scene, and it is terrible. While Mortal Kombat had some semi-decent fights, Annihilation relies on actors awkwardly attempting to pummel each other around in a series of unconvincing jumps, flips, and stunt doubles, way more than the first film did. The villainous Shao Kahn gets into a fight with Raiden, only to lose and requires one of his lackeys to give him a weapon. So I guess he really isn't all that menacing then. And then the film tries to make him seem more badass by having him kill Johnny Cage, which in a sense is a decision that's both good and bad. Bad because Johnny Cage is one of the most iconic characters from the game series, and good because I don't really want to deal with having some surrogate actor play him.
In 6 days, you will all bow to me!
Why 6 days? Why can't you do it now? You really aren't that menacing, are you? You're actively just going to give them this window of time to stop you. And we know you can be stopped because you already lost a fight to Lord Raiden, dickhead. Raiden offers some convoluted explanation as to how Kahn is doing what he does.
The rules say the Earth is safe for another generation.
Obviously, Khan has cheated and broken the rules. I believe he has resurrected your mother to keep these portals open indefinitely. By reuniting you with her, Khan's spell will be broken. Your mother's soul will be at peace. And his portal's closed.
You see, magic. Got it.
Together,
We couldn't even save Johnny.
Take you back. Take you back.
None of you even tried. He at least died trying to save you, you ungrateful bitch. So Liu Kang and Katana disappear into a hamster ball through the core of the planet, or something like that. And then we get a terrible CGI rendering of this lair, which shows that the CGI is honestly just getting worse by the scene. And then Michael Chiklis from The Shield pops up.
Father, the merger has begun. Earth is under attack. And it is glorious!
Oh wait, that's actually Shao Kahn himself. As a kid when I first saw this, I was like, wait a minute, who's that? And it honestly took me a little while to figure out that that's supposed to be Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn is defined by his iconic costume. Even when he doesn't have his mask on, he has a very demonic face. This guy looks like every single WWE wrestler ever trying to make it in a Hollywood film. Also, do you remember that really unpopular Judge Dredd film where Sylvester Stallone took off the character's iconic mask for the majority of the film and pissed fans off? I don't think you do, because you are making that exact same mistake.
Raiden is of no concern to us.
You let him live?
He could not be stopped.
Trade me for Johnny Cage.
He literally offered himself as a sacrifice. You could have stopped him then and there. Then we get another quote-unquote fight scene. Another awkward series of poorly edited flips and jumps. But we at least get to see some of Katana's iconic weapons from the game, so that's a neat reference for fans. For all the awkward and unconvincing flips in the film, and there's 54 mind you, this is the most unconvincing in the film. And it's actually pretty funny as a result. Sub-Zero comes to save the day by freezing a missile inside the android. And just as it's about to explode, Liu Kang kicks it over. He doesn't kick it to a safe distance, he just pushes it over. So the explosion still happens within the same proximity, except that he's closer to it this time because he made the effort of going up to it to push it over. What an idiot.
That's how you're supposed to do it. No, it isn't. That's how you fucking die.
And Sub-Zero isn't wearing the mask in the film. Again, did you not see Judge Dredd?
You betray the law!
Sub-Zero creates an ice bridge in this gap, and we later see that the characters are capable of jumping the entire gap anyway.
Well, that was pointless.
Sub-Zero fights another Scorpion, and he creates a frozen stand-in to dodge an attack, which is actually one of his iconic moves from the game, so again, that's like another neat little reference that they put in the movie. Then the fight finishes, Katana disappears, the end. Back to Encino Woman. She meets up with Jax for the first time, a fan-favorite character with mechanical arms. Except that it's not this time, it's mechanical enhancers?
Cybernetic strength enhancers. Takes what you got and quadruples the muscle capacity. Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about.
You ever seen any movie ever? He's the black guy.
They couldn't look past race when they were writing Jax for this film. In comes a rejected Power Rangers villain to do battle. It starts by punching glass, but stopping just before it hits the glass, because apparently the glass is set to shatter anyway.
Major Briggs, Sonya Blade, Shao Kahn will be pleased.
Shao what?
Kahn!
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 This awkward fight concludes with Sonya pulling a Rusty Shackleford.
Pocket sand.
This defeats the enemy, because apparently the enemy is Anakin Skywalker.
I don't like sand.
Then in another testament to the film's visual effects, we get this green screen explosion. This is one of the two least convincing green screen explosions I've ever seen in my life. Have you ever seen She-Devil? The ridiculously campy 80s comedy with Meryl Streep and Roseanne Barr? This is the only scene I can compare the Annihilation explosion to. No further comment. And then we get Nightwolf, who comes in just so he can give Liu Kang a vision. And the filmmakers actually did cast a Native American in this role, so again, that's one of the few things they got right.
Something finally went right for a change.
But Nightwolf just comes and goes, and he asks Liu Kang to participate in 3 tests, but he only goes through 1. Liu Kang has a fight with Jade, who breaks out of her hold twice in the same shot from 2 angles. Then she throws a spear, and he literally jumps at it just so he can dodge it.
Parkour! If I'm gonna die today, at least tell me why.
Nobody told me why Johnny had to die.
Because he died trying to save your life, you ungrateful bitch.
I can't take too much more of this.
Then Sonya has another fight, and I realized in this fight scene that most of the shots do not depict the fighters both in frame. So most of the fight was probably filmed without them actually being on set together, and then the stunt doubles just did the rest of the scenes where they actually had to make physical contact. And then we get a full taste of the film's terrible CGI when this giant stone statue turns into the villain from an old PS2 game, and Jax repeatedly punches at something that isn't there until it gets defeated in no time. So none of this really matters at all, just like the rest of the plot in the film. But we haven't hit the peak of bad CGI in this film just yet.
Oh no, we're not done yet.
Raiden meets with the gods and is granted 3 questions. One question he does not ask is, how could Shao Kahn be defeated? even though the gods infer that they have the exact knowledge on that subject.
Only when Shao Kahn is destroyed will the future be safe.
He asks some other philosophical nonsense before he flips back to the main characters with a whole new haircut. Now, which of these two characters look like they have the slightest resemblance to being some kind of god of thunder? I don't know if it was actually written into the script that Raiden gets a haircut, or that James Remar had it written into his contract that he'd only have to wear a wig for a few scenes. But either way, he is even less convincing as Raiden now. This is the final nail on the coffin for any hope for the character Raiden. James Remar plays him as the most generic Western character ever. He's lacking in any sense of charisma, his line delivery is completely hollow and one-dimensional.
Each of us must help and support the others, like a family. What's the deal with your arms?
I've known you 1 minute, and you dissing me already?
And without even the convincing costume behind him, there's no way anyone can look at him objectively and say, oh, that's Raiden. At least Christopher Lambert had a sense of mysticism in both his eyes and his voice. Even in this costume, he could have played a more convincing Raiden. Then Raiden has another fight scene, which is an entirely unnecessary series of flips and jumps, even more so than usual. And it's painfully obvious that it's not James Remar that's doing this.
You are witness to the dawning of mankind's final day!
Wait. It's been 6 days already? I haven't seen anything involving a passage of time that suggests that it's been more than even 1 day. But that plot point just disappeared and then came back like a boomerang. Liu Kang finally finds Katana.
Lou, let's get together.
It's a trap, Lou. Leave.
It's a trap!
Liu Kang fights one of the Barakas, who actively gets the chance to kill Liu Kang at one point, but instead jumps on him into an execution pose, but doesn't actually kill him. The window was right there for you to kill him. Jesus Christ. We see Katana's mother again, and she's still a one-dimensional campy villain. Except now she's doing some kind of cosmic ballet in a flash of lights.
The cosmic ballet goes on.
Does anyone want to switch seats?
Then we find out Raiden has become mortal.
By leading us here, he is mortal now.
Which might actually explain his down-to-earth haircut. Oh yeah, it also turns out he's Shao Kahn's brother.
Shao Kahn is my brother.
What a twist.
You should have killed me when you had the chance, brother.
Was this shot originally as a scene where Shao Kahn unmasks himself for the first time? Because we've seen the bald-headed face underneath that costume before. It's nothing new to us now, Steve Austin. Then he kills Raiden. And there's no feeling to it at all. It just sort of happens. Raiden!
I am proud to die. Immortal.
You went out like a little bitch after you took one hit. You didn't even try to put up a fight. You have nothing to be proud of on this film, James Remar.
You don't need me anymore.
And then we get the face-off we've all been waiting for.
Mr. Ed is mine.
You hear that, guys? Mr. Ed the Talking Horse exists in the Mortal Kombat universe.
I'll take my mother.
Leftovers are fine with me.
Is that what you said to your agent when no one else was willing to take this role after reading the script? As Liu Kang and Shao Kahn fight, you quickly realize that Kahn is literally the least threatening person there. He has the least impressive fight moves, just standing there throwing his arms around, relying on his opponent to react accordingly. Jax loses his mechanical muscular enhancers, which turn out to be just rubber. And Sonya literally just stands there waiting to get hit by these two guys. But later she breaks this guy's neck, even though we can see that she obviously didn't do anything to resemble breaking someone's neck. We just have to believe it because someone put the sound effect in there. And then we get the true climax of Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And this is an image you're never gonna forget. Liu Kang and Shao Kahn turn into two of the most unconvincingly ugly CGI creations ever put on screen. Someone actually looked at those and said, yeah, that's an acceptable standard of computer-generated imagery for a film we're hoping will break $100 million at box office. They actually released this. And when these monstrosities do combat, it actually resembles a child picking up two of his favorite monster toys and just like clashing them together.
Oh, nah, I done seen everything.
Honestly, Jax, yeah, that was my reaction too. And this entire fight doesn't actually have any impact on anything, because the characters revert to their mortal forms and just get up ready to fight again.
The fate of the universe will be decided as it should be.
In Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, by trying to sync up dialogue with a line from a song, you're just making the entire experience feel more artificial, if that was humanly possible. In the final fight, Liu Kang does a backflip that hits Shao Kahn in the face, and it plays 3 times, followed by a shot which doesn't actually appear to show anything. Seriously, what was this shot meant to be? Shao Kahn then loses the fight, and since he's lost one battle after winning countless others, suddenly he's been officially defeated. because apparently this was the only battle which was actually Mortal Kombat, and his dad ends up folding like a set piece from Paper Mario. The mythology of this film is already weird enough, but that I still don't understand. After Shao Kahn is destroyed, the world reverts to normal. Both Raiden and Sindel are brought back to life, but Johnny Cage remains dead for some reason, so Sonya's pity arc was never completed. But it's okay, because she walks off with a big smile on her face, having completely forgotten about it. And then the credits roll. And I got so caught up in the senselessness of this film that I completely forgot there was actually a plot in there, so I'm going to try to piece that together right now. So, Shao Kahn was trying to merge his realm with the planet Earth, which would destroy it in 6 days. And during those 6 days, the Mortal Kombat heroes needed to unite their team together. But Katana got taken, so they needed to bring her back, and they found Jax along the way. And Liu Kang had to learn to fight as an animal, which actually didn't have any impact. And once they were united together, they fought Shao Kahn's team, and won, and saved everything. When I put it like that, it just sounds like it's simplistic, but there was a lot of awkward pieces put in to try to fulfill the obligations of a story, and it didn't really happen in the end. So is Mortal Kombat Annihilation a good film? Objectively, not in the slightest. But as an example of shameless studio incompetence and greed, it's a phenomenal film. It's obvious this was a rush production trying to capitalize on the success of the first Mortal Kombat film, but if you read up on the history of this film, you learn that they actually didn't even bother to put this film through a second edit after it screened for test audiences. Now, the second edit is supposed to be where you put in reshoots to try to clean up the little continuity errors and unresolved subplots of the film and polish off the visual effects, but somehow the test audiences responded to this film favorably enough that the studio just said, "Yep, let's pack it and send it," even though it's clearly an unfinished film. In 2005, the film A Sound of Thunder came out, which was affected by its studio getting bankrupted and $50 million being slashed from the budget. The makers cobbled together what they could of the movie and released it in an obviously unpolished state with special effects that looked like this. Mortal Kombat Annihilation was released in the exact same state, but it was done completely voluntarily this time. There was nothing impacting the studio from spending a little bit more money to polish the film off. They were just like, that's fine.
Well, that should be fine, just fine.
Fine, just fine.
They were so certain that the world was going to like this movie that they sent this shit sandwich out to everyone, and people didn't buy it. The film bombed, and nobody should be surprised about that. While its predecessor was just basic and simplistic, this is a film that's so bombastically messy and undercooked that it doesn't even reach the standards of being raw.
What the fuck is going on? This fucking raw!
And to be fair, reshoots and edits could not save this film. This feels like 4 unrelated Mighty Morphin Power Rangers episodes awkwardly cobbled together to try to pass themselves off as one story. It resulted in a cinematic abortion which has no competence, consistency, or flow to it whatsoever. Mortal Kombat Annihilation gets 5 unnecessary backflips out of 10. It's an objectively bad film which derails the pretty low standard set by its predecessor, but crashes and burns so magnificently that you really just can't look away. And that does it for today's episode of Delightfully Devilish. You guys, if you have any ideas for films you want me to discuss on this show, please leave them in the comment section below. If you want to see more episodes, please hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, until next time, I'm your host, Jukebox Harry. Peace.